Hello, everybody, and welcome to Love Wrestling Presents Sunday Brunch here on February the 13th. I might be a familiar face. I am Bobby Money Munson, and I am flying solo here today. Somebody gave me the controls and let me have a little bit of power today. I don't know if that was a good idea or a great idea, but it's an idea nonetheless. So I want to welcome you all here to this edition of Sunday Brunch, where we're going to have a good old discussion about the week that was professional wrestling this week. But before we get started, a few housekeeping things I want to take care of here, of course, thanking our sponsors. First of all, Rich King over at RK Athletics 1. If you want to turn out to be your absolute best, get in shape, find out great meal plans, then you want to go and visit our good friend Rich King at RK Athletics 1. And after that, you may also want to feel a little bit smoother down below. So if you do, and you want to get 20% off your package, then head on over to Manscaped, where you can use the promo code LOVEWRESTLING and go and get yourself a great deal at manscaped.com. Also, if you want to get yourself some Love Wrestling merchandise, you can also check out whatamaneuver.net/collections/love-wrestling-ca for all your Love Wrestling merchandise. And yes, we have got the chat hopping here today, and I want to take a moment to say hello to some of my friends. Yes, I'm going to give a shout out there. Bobby, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for joining us on the brunch. We've also got Tim Knopp, hope I said that correctly. You made it to brunch, brother. Glad you did. Happy to have you out. Chris Parrish, I mean, you may not be sharing the screen with me today, my man, but you're still here in spirit nonetheless. And yes, it is sweet that you've all made it out here. I also want to give a shout out to my boy, Basser69, for showing up here as well today. Ryan, good to see you as well, too. We've got a hashtag Pluggo Smells. I couldn't agree more. Zach popping in. Bobby keeping the brunch streak alive. You bet I am, Zach. I can't let the team down. And yes, a big old shout out to our good friend, Dare Amazing. How you doing today, Dare Amazing? So yes, that takes care of the comments portion here today. And now I want to talk about some wrestling. So again, keep the topics going here. I got a few notes we're going to discuss here today. I want to start out, because I am the MLW guy, let's talk a little bit of MLW for any of you in the chat that do check out MLW on a regular basis. Then, let's talk about it. This week, there was quite the interesting turn of events over on MLW as I tried to get these banners and stuff working properly. MLW, there was a matchup at the end of the night between Pagano and Alexander Hammerstone for the MLW Heavyweight Championship of the World. Hammerstone coming out on top, but in the end, there was going to be a discussion with him. Alicia, too, was getting a microphone ready, and her and Richard Holiday turning on Alex Hammerstone. This was a big turn of events, and a big turn for Alicia, too, as a friend here at Love Wrestling. It's a shame that she can't join us here today, because I would make her fully responsible to talk about her actions here on Love Wrestling. But, nonetheless, she is not here, and therefore I can't talk about that. But, yes, definitely a big turn of events there. Interesting to see as the chat continues to pop in with some great comments from all of you as well, too. We got some new friends joining us here. Hello, Astrid. Thank you for joining the show. HCW Sports, thank you. Let's talk wrestling. Bobby, glad to see you, fella. I'm glad to see you as well, too, my friend. Let's talk some wrestling. In fact, let's go back to a question or a comment I had earlier from our good friend Bobby. He wanted us to make sure that we talked about Thunder Rosa versus Athena from Warrior Wrestling. And you know what? I didn't have an opportunity to see this matchup just as of yet. But I do want to, because you know what? Athena is a fantastic talent that we haven't really seen a whole lot of as of just yet. And Athena, just, a wonderful, wonderful talent inside the ring, and I think sorely missed by the fans. And I believe last night she took on Thunder Rosa in what has been a very well talked about matchup. I think, as we see here, Astrid piping in, that was an awesome match to watch. So I'm looking forward to taking the time to watch this one. I haven't had a chance to do so. It's been a little bit of a crazy week for me. I'm actually just on the other side of recovery from COVID-19. So this is the first time I'm speaking on anything right now kind of thing. So I've watched very minimal wrestling this week. I tried to keep up best I could so that I could join you all here on Sunday, but please bear with me as I try to get through all of this and get through my day as well too. So yes, anything you guys want to jump on here with, they'll definitely help with getting us through this particular day of Love Wrestling Sunday Brunch. Some of the other notes that I've got as well today, let's talk for a minute about the NWA. I'm not sure if anybody has had a chance to see what happened, but last night the NWA crowned a brand new NWA World's Heavyweight Champion in Mr. Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona was victorious over Trevor Murdoch to become the new NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. And I want to talk about this for a minute, being a big fan of the NWA. Trevor Murdoch was a great story. And I think Matt Cardona has said this best on things like Busted Open Radio, that Trevor Murdoch's story was fantastic leading up to his defeating Nick Aldis to become the champion. And yes, in the process, Matt Cardona said that the biggest problem is that the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, the 16 pounds of gold, Sweet Charlotte, needs to be out there. More people need to see this championship defended on other programs. They need to see this championship make it around the entire world as well too. And you know, this is exactly what Matt Cardona brings to the table. He has been very vocal and very interesting to listen to in terms of his cutting promos on the champion, Trevor Murdoch. The match, I did not get the opportunity to watch it just yet. I heard turned out quite well. And Matt Cardona, the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So this should be an interesting thing that we get moving forward. Matt Cardona now saying that he's going to take this title worldwide. Like, this could be a title we're seeing on other shows moving forward. We could see this show up on Impact Wrestling. We could see the NWA's World Heavyweight Championship show up in other parts around the entire world as well too. Matt Cardona definitely brings a name status to the NWA's World Heavyweights Championship as well too. And we got a comment here from my good friend Chris Parrish. Could we see Cardona and Green against James and Aldis? Well, I mean, nothing's impossible, Mr. Parrish. Definitely not impossible. And you know what? I believe we could. Chelsea Green on the show last night too. Was great to see. So I would love to see it. I think that would be a great intergender matchup there. Mickey James and Nick Aldis, of course, on one side, Cardona and Chelsea Green on the other. I think that match would be, much better than a hot mess, that's for sure. So it would be an interesting time. We also got a comment here from our friend Dara Amazing. The NWA World's title coming to GCW. Well, interesting. I did not hear this news necessarily. If it's been confirmed, I assume it is because Matt Cardona is spending time over there. But if you got more to elaborate on, if there's been some sort of official announcement or something like that, or Cardona's been signed to a match, I'd love to hear about it. So let me know, Dara Amazing, what you know about that one so I can check that out as well too. Going back just for a moment to a question regarding MLW. My good friend, Ecto Guy, how are you today? How's about Killer Cross coming back to MLW? So yes, this actually is official now. So this week, MLW actually made the official statement that Killer Cross is going to be returning back to their company. He is going to be joining the MLW roster. I would only presume that is going to be coming up on February 26th at Super Fight. There is a lot planned for Super Fight itself. A Killer Cross coming in could be absolutely fantastic. I don't know if anybody has had the opportunity to see, but he is currently training with Davey Richards, and Davey Richards has had an incredible run in MLW as of right now too. So this is exciting news all over. I think the training is going to be phenomenal. Is going to bring a lot to the table when Killer Cross makes that debut. So definitely stay tuned for that. Sorry for that. That's coming up most likely on the 26th of February, like I said, at Super Fight. Also at Super Fight, there was big news coming out of MLW that they have brought in Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who's going to be making an appearance. Yes, this is big news for a big, long-standing wrestling fan like myself. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat coming back to a pro wrestling ring there for MLW Super Fight. That is massive in itself. They've got a lot planned with Davey Richards taking on Alexander Hammerstone for the MLW World's Heavyweight Championship as well, too, at that event. So they have got some big stuff happening there in the world of MLW. And I got another comment from my boy Parrish there. MLW stands for Munson Loves Wrestling. I love it. We should do a little bit of rebranding right there. I can get on board with Munson Loves Wrestling. It's a good one, buddy. It's a great one, in fact. So what else do we have in the ways of professional wrestling this week? I mean, we're 13 minutes into the show. Give me what you can in the comments. Let's chat here. But definitely some big news coming out of the world of AEW. They were talking about a big debut coming. I believe they mentioned it, the Forbidden Door, which I wouldn't exactly call this the Forbidden Door by any means. I mean, the Forbidden Door is what it is. But anyway, Keith Lee. He makes his debut on AEW. What did you all think of this? I like Keith Lee. I think the hype didn't really quite match the debut for me. I don't know. Maybe it was just I was feeling sick and my head wasn't into it so much. But it didn't quite wow me as much as I was hoping it would. But I am very happy for Keith Lee. I mean, he is such a big boy, a great in-ring talent. This is, it's another big addition to the AEW roster, to an ever-growing roster of great professionals that they have being added on a weekly basis. I think now, after a few years of being in business, they're really starting to flesh out what the company is all about. And I think that is a great thing for them. I think Keith Lee is just going to add another layer of diversity to that ever-growing roster. And I think that we're going to get a lot of great matches in there as well, too. Let's see here. We got a comment from Tim. It was as Forbidden Door as the Royal Rumble was, in my opinion, which was not much. Well, you got a fair point there, Tim. The only thing we could say, like the Forbidden Door, let's talk about that comment for a minute. The Forbidden Door itself was always the company not willing to work with other companies. So the Forbidden Door tended to always be WWE themselves, as they are very reluctant to allow other companies time on their programming and stuff like that. So with the Royal Rumble itself, I found that the Forbidden Door, in a sense, it was open. It really was. I mean, Mickie James got to join the Royal Rumble. She got to come out to Hardcore Country. She was named as improperly named the wrong champion, but, she came out with her Impact Championship as well, too. So I would say definitely that is a little bit more Forbidden Door than what most Forbidden Door comes across like. But again, to teach their own. I mean, what really is Forbidden Door anymore these days anyway, as it is. Comment here from our good friend Dare Amazing. Keith's debut was limitless. Also, I think the Forbidden Door was Jay White. Again, with Jay White, Forbidden Door, I don't think when you're contracted to New Japan Pro Wrestling, you're really stopped from going anywhere else, as far as I know. I mean, maybe somebody who's a little bit more up on the New Japan Pro Wrestling talk could maybe chime in and let me know a little bit more about that and their working agreements with other companies as well, too. I do try to tune in as much as possible. But yeah, Jay White did make an appearance on AEW. And I've heard from a few people that they felt this one was a little bit underwhelming, or the fans were underwhelmed by Jay White. I like Jay White. I think he is a phenomenal talent. I think that there is a lot to be said for him joining AEW as well, too. I don't necessarily like that he's going to come in and be lumped into the ongoing thing with Adam Cole, the Bucks, and all this kind of stuff that's going on right now. It's not really my flavor, personally. I mean, if it's yours, great. I mean, that's fantastic. I'd rather Jay White come in and be able to kind of stand on his own. I really think that Jay White has the talent to stand on his own, and I would really like to see it personally. And then we're going to go to another comment here. Bear with me. Astrid says, having Mickie with her championship and being recognized as the champion was huge. And I completely agree with you, Astrid, 100%. I think that Mickie being able to go out there in any capacity, being working for Impact Wrestling and being able to show off that Knockouts championship was massive, not only for Impact, but for, in general, for women's wrestling and for Mickie James as well, too. I mean, it not only got her to show what she's been up to since being let go from the company, but at the same time, it just proved how much of a great talent and how professional she is to be able to come back after all that, get to go and work inside that matchup and do her thing. And I was very, very happy for Mickie. I'm a huge Mickie James fan, and I would really like to see more of that as well, too. I'm going to go slide back to one more comment from our good boy Bobby here. He says he would like to see Camille versus Max the Impaler for the NWA Women's World Championship. Bobby, I agree with you on this one because Camille needs some power behind the matchup. She needs someone that really can take it to her, and I think that this is a fantastic option. I've been rooting for Max the Impaler to come in and take over some of these divisions for a while now. I think they are a massive talent, and I think that they would add a lot of depth to an NWA Women's Championship matchup with Camille as well too. So I would really enjoy seeing that particular matchup between those two. I think that it would be an instant classic, and I think that it would propel Max the Impaler to new levels, as well as Camille at the same time too. I'm all on board with Max the Impaler showing up just about anywhere. I'd love to see Max actually join the MLW roster as well too, and be able to take on talents over there like Willow Nightingale. I'd really love to see a Willow Nightingale and Max the Impaler match sometime down the road as well too. I think that there is just much to be said about what we've got going on over there. So yes, a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling here, folks. Anything else that anybody wants to bring up, please let me know in the comments here, because I'm flying solo and I need you guys here today. I need you to reach out and help me out the best you can. We could sit here and we could talk about WWE. We could talk about WrestleMania being around the corner. We could talk about the Elimination Chamber. We could even talk about Oldberg coming back and taking on Roman Reigns for the championship. How do you guys feel about Goldberg's return? Is it worth it? Do we need the star power over in WWE, or should they stop relying on old stars and we'll focus on the new ones? Speaking of WWE, actually some news that leaked. I just remembered this as well too from tapings. And again, this could be a spoiler alert because I believe this is pre-taped for next Friday. So if you don't want to be spoiled on this, either cover your ears or go grab a beer or coffee or whatever it is you're going to do right now. But I believe from the tapings, we have a new Intercontinental Champion that came out of the tapings for next Friday's SmackDown. Sami Zayn, the new WWE Intercontinental Champion, having beat Shinsuke Nakamura for the title. How does everybody feel about this? Is Sami going to have a nice long reign as the Intercontinental Champion, or will the conspiracy continue? Will Sami Zayn find himself screwed out of that Intercontinental Championship at some point in time? Let me know in the comments how you feel about Sami Zayn as the new Intercontinental Champion of World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, as we continue to go along here, I want to just take a short break once again to talk about our sponsors. So I'm going to go over to a short video from our good man, Zach of Spark and Mouth. The Spark Mouth himself, sorry about that, Zach, from Spark and Friends. And Zach is going to be talking about our good friends at Manscaped.
Hi friends, Zach from lovewrestling.ca here, and I'm here with a package generously given to us from our new friends at manscaped.com. I just thought I'd take the time to unbox and share the contents with you here today. The first thing I want to say is I really appreciate the discretion of this packaging. I need more secrets with my postman, not less. Okay, so first thing I got here is a t-shirt. Your balls will thank you. You mean that figuratively, right? Like they're not gonna, become sentient and make decisions for me. They already make enough decisions for me. When I was unpackaging it, I really appreciated the discretion here, but I admire the confidence and the boldness on the very back of this t-shirt. I have been excited about this for days. Get the big packaging out of the way. Big package. Holy cow. I did not expect this. Wow, this is impressive. Most slowly with the blade side up. Always use with care. I think I can do that. 4.0 will help reduce nicks, folks, but you gotta use it properly. There's a pull thing. There's a pull tab underneath. Jeez, this box never ends. It's like a little adventure. Got some crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant. Very refreshing. Very nice, pleasant odor. It's not like perfumey. It's just like, it's just very fresh. I like that. And then we got the crop reviver. Sorry about the glare. That's awful. So I got the preserver and the revivers. If I forget to use the preserver, then I got the reviver to help me. I've played RPGs. And lastly, the main event, There it is, the Lawnmower 4.0. Very nice, very light. Let's it says I'm supposed to charge it first, but I'm wondering. Oh yeah, there we go. Can hear that baby purr. Oh, it's got a little light too. How handy is that? Well, friends, this is a very nice product. If you want to get your hand on the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped, just head over to manscaped.com, and I'm even going to do you one better. Just enter our promo code LOVEWRESTLING. You're going to get 20% off, and you're going to get free shipping. How good is that? And thank you once again to manscaped.com for this very generous Lawnmower 4.0 and accessories and t-shirts. My name is Zach Ralph. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you very much, Zach, for giving us that quick video there. You can get 20% off at Manscaped using the promo code LOVEWRESTLING. So continuing on talking about wrestling, and you know what, if you got comments, I'm bringing it up today because we need discussions here. So Bobby, you're getting some screen time today, my man. Killer Cross is wrestling at Warrior Wrestling on March the 12th. Fantastic news. It seems to be like Warrior Wrestling has got some great signings going on there. I might have to take some time to actually sit down and watch a little bit more Warrior Wrestling, especially after hearing about Athena versus Thunder Rosa and now Killer Cross heading over there. Man, this is solid news. I love it. Let's hear some more about that kind of stuff. Then we're going to go over to a comment from my man, Tim. Tim says Sammy will lose the title after one, maybe two title defenses, and or he will be the boogeyman's first victim, bringing the worms. Well, you know what? I could get on board with that. I mean, the boogeyman's always just lurking around the corner somewhere, and those worms are going to be something that Sammy definitely wouldn't enjoy either, kind of thing. So that could be quite the entertaining time if Sammy ends up having to take on the Boogeyman. Not so sure I want to see a Intercontinental title run with a 60-year-old Boogeyman at this point in time, but you know, to each their own, I guess. I hope Sammy does have a lengthy title run. I think that it's something that is completely overdue for him. I think that Sammy has been working his ass off. He is a fantastic, phenomenal talent, just re-signed with the company. He did some wonderful work there just before the start of the new year with Brock Lesnar, and I think it is Sammy's time to really shine here in 2022. So I really do think that there is some great things coming from our boy Sami Zayn, and I think this title run hopefully will be cemented by, you know, some great title defenses leading into hopefully what ends up being a great title match at WrestleMania. I'd love to see a great one-on-one match at WrestleMania. I mean, I don't know if I remember the last time the Intercontinental title was defended in just a straight up one-on-one wrestling match. And I say wrestling match, no gimmicks. Let's see something like that at WrestleMania. I would love to see a pure wrestling match between Sami Zayn and somebody else, or even if they're going to go with the rematch for Shinsuke Nakamura, God, could we get Shinsuke and Sami one-on-one at WrestleMania and get something reminiscent of when Shinsuke debuted in NXT and that match that we will never, ever forget that took place on that magical night? I think that they could relive that magic at a WrestleMania and have the people talking for quite some time. Let's just see here. Follow up from our good friend Tim. It just sounds like something that WWE would do at this point. You know what, Tim? It sounds like something that just about any company in pro wrestling nowadays would do at this point, because it's just, I don't know. It seems like everybody just comes up with these quick one-off ideas without thinking of continuity or longevity or anything like that. They want that instant gratification. It's like, hey, that'll get people talking and buzzing on social media for the day, so let's do that. And you know what? That is one of the things that kind of drives me a little bit crazy about modern pro wrestling sometimes, is I'm a slow burn kind of guy. And I think that's why I enjoy MLW as much as I do, because MLW is a slow burn type company. A lot of their storylines are fleshed out over a long period of time, and the payoffs come at a much later date. For example, it was quite some time ago where the fallout of Contra happened on MLW television. So then they've been building up the idea of having Jacob Fatu versus Mods Kruger coming up, and it's finally going to happen at Super Fight, but this is quite a few months down the road from when these two had their confrontation. They've kept them apart, they've built this thing up, and now they're going to collide in a big boy matchup coming up here at Super Fight. And I love that kind of longevity booking. I know it's not for everybody, and the modern day pro wrestling, it is really hard to do that kind of thing. And, it becomes very difficult to do it, especially when you don't have a lockdown roster, like some sort of consistent roster that you can say that is going to definitely be there all the time, because everybody is working for various companies. They have contracts all over the place, and it just tends to be one of those things that happen. Coming from the side of seeing things backstage and working in pro wrestling myself, this is one thing. Discussions happen all the time about what plans and what to do and stuff like that. I mean, we have been plotting out Prairie Pro Wrestling now since before we even did our first ever shows for Prairie Pro. We sat down and we had this major plan. This is what we want to do. Here's some names that we think could be our very first champion. Here are some ideas of how to flesh this out. And I'll tell you what, at this point in time, especially because the pandemic really put a damper on things, we have not been able to flesh out anything quite exactly the way we planned it. There is still a lot of the plans that are going forward the way we want to. But yes, there is a lot of great things that we are going to be able to do and will do. But again, it's one of those things where booking can change on the fly as a result of just not always having available who you need to have available. Tim says, that's why I miss Lucha Underground, because it had these long stories. And you know what, Tim, my good friend, if you enjoy Lucha Underground and haven't checked out MLW, I really suggest that you do, because Dario Cueto, or as he's known now, Cesar Duran, is actually the match runner over on MLW. And just recently, they did 4 weeks worth of tapings over in Mexico, which they referred to as MLW Azteca Underground. And so Azteca Underground was all taking place in Mexico. Some of it was done in an arena in Tijuana, and then some of it was actually taped in an underground fight club. So they were actually surrounded by an outdoor cage. There was a small, tight-knit group of fans that were allowed inside of this thing. This thing felt just like old school Danger fighting type sort of thing. It was cool. And if you really liked Lucha Underground, you probably would really, really enjoy MLW. So Tim kind of brings up a good question as I'm talking here as well too. Where does one watch MLW? Asking for a friend. Well, Tim, you can tell your friend that they can head on over to youtube.com, type in MLW or MLW Fusion, and you will find the MLW YouTube page. Every single Thursday night, an episode of MLW Fusion takes place. It is absolutely 100% free. All I can do, as always, is suggest give them a like and subscribe and show them some love, because they give this content for free each and every week. What they do is they do a lot of their big fights pre-taped, and then those turn into episodes of MLW Fusion that are released on a weekly basis as well too. So yeah, you can definitely go catch up on all of that. There was the MLW Azteca, as I said, the last 4 weeks, and a return back to regular MLW Fusion as they were in Dallas for the last set of tapings, and that was where we got the Pagano versus Hammerstone main event match there and as well. Let's see here from Tim. And does anyone know where the hell Paul London is these days? Well, you know what? I could not answer that question for you, Tim, but hopefully somebody in the chat can check that out. So, yes, where in the world is Paul London? Is the question from our good friend Tim. So, yes, let us know, because it's been a long time since I've seen or heard from Mr. Paul London. All right, let's go, because I need some more questions here. Let's go back to our good friend Bobby. Bobby has got a question about the Crockett Cup. Which tag team do you want to see wrestle at the Crockett Cup this year at the NWA? Well, I mean, it goes without saying, Mr. Bobby, I could say this each and every week, that I could go for FTR in the Crockett Cup anytime, anywhere, because you know what? FTR are just hands down one of the best in the world. Again, I love pure tag teams, so I want to see the best of the best of actual tag teams inside that Crockett Cup. So you're talking your FTRs, you're talking about the Briscoes. I mean, those are two teams I can name you right now that I could watch all day long and not get bored of. But again, like, there is so many teams out there. I mean, personally, here's one I want to see. I want to see from MLW, I want to see the Von Erich boys. I mean, if you're not familiar with the Von Erich legacy is one thing, but the Von Erichs currently the tag team over in MLW, former MLW tag team champions, the Von Erichs, fantastic workers inside that ring. A couple of good old Texas boys that could really give an ass kicking to their opponents and bring great things to tag team wrestling in general. That is what I would love to see inside of the Crockett Cup. I think that would be phenomenal. Anybody who's not familiar with the Crockett Cup, definitely go back and have a look at years past on the Crockett Cup. There's a lot of great things that can be said about it all there. So anyway, if anybody has any more questions to bring up, I would love to hear them from you. I've got lots of time here to talk to you guys about anything wrestling. But in the meantime, I'm going to give another shout out to our good boy, RK Athletics 1, Rich King. If you want to be someone who is in the top shape of your life, and maybe you have dreams and aspirations to be on television and be a pro wrestler, well, if you want to be a pro wrestler, you got to look the part of a pro wrestler, and you need to get yourself in tip-top shape. And our good friend Rich King at RK Athletics 1 can teach you how to look that damn good. So definitely go check out RK Athletics 1. And we're going to take a short break here while I go and grab some more water and clear my throat. We're going to go check out a clip from our good friend, the boss man himself, Spencer Love, as he interviews Cody Diener.
I want to start it off with, what do you find different between, say, the Ontario independent scene or wrestling consistently there versus coming out to the West Coast, maybe wrestling in Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, consistently as you have been for the last little bit?
I think the one thing that I noticed about being out in Alberta is, I don't know if it was just my mind telling me this or if it was actually true, but I felt like the Alberta fans are a little more of an old school fan because of the history of the Hart family and those things. Maybe it was because I actually went and visited the Hart House while I was there in Alberta, because I'm a huge, obviously as a Canadian, Bret Hart is like the man. So I went out and I just had that on my mind, and just wrestling in front of those Alberta fans, I mean, it just felt like this old school feel. And some of the crowds in Ontario were like that, but not all of them. But every single time I've wrestled in Alberta, it's just like this old school mentality. And I guess maybe what I mean by that is there's not a fan that's in the audience that's trying to bring attention to themselves. They just appreciate watching what's in the ring, and they just want to have a good time. No matter what kind of wrestling is happening in front of them, they are there to have a good time and support the guys they like and boo the guys they don't, which is usually support the guy they're supposed to cheer and boo the guy they're supposed to boo, and they just want to have fun. That's my kind of wrestling, man, and that's the kind of fans are in Alberta, and I noticed that right away when I was out there.
Yeah, that is Cody Diener talking about professional wrestling here in Canada. For those of you watching us from outside of Canada, thank you for tuning in from wherever it is in the world you are from. We appreciate our fans, both local and worldwide as well, too. So yes, pro wrestling in Canada. Bret Hart is the man, by the way. I can't deny that. I have always been a Bret Hart fan, biggest pro wrestling guy to get me into pro wrestling. I mean, he isn't the one I initially started watching, but definitely the one that really sold wrestling for me as a child. And I always have the utmost respect for Bret Hart and his legacy as well, too. Speaking of pro wrestling here in Canada, well, you know, seeing as I don't have any more questions at the time, I mean, I guess I could take the moment to talk a little bit about pro wrestling here in Canada. We know that there has been some great events that have taken place, and we're seeing the growth of it here, especially in Western Canada as well, too, which is nice to see. Finally, we have a lot of great untapped talent here, and a lot of them which you have seen featured here on Love Wrestling as well, too, whether it's Spencer Love interviews or the continuing matches that have been uploaded from Change the Game as well, too. Then there's more to come from that as well, so definitely check that out. The talents that you're seeing on here, these Western Canadian talents, deserve your time and attention. They put in the hard work, they put in the efforts, and they do phenomenal stuff. And I'm talking about all of Canada as well, too. Again, not just Western Canada, but all of Canada has got some great untapped markets here. And I think that the world should definitely be on notice for what we have going on around here in Canadian professional wrestling. There is a lot to check out too. If you guys are listening in and checking out YouTube, you can check out different companies on YouTube that put out weekly program, or not weekly programming, but programming as they come available. We got companies out of Vancouver, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and right across the board, we got companies out of Winnipeg. We got companies out of Quebec, everything like that. There is just so much wonderful talent here in Canada that needs to be seen and heard from all of you. So definitely give a lot of love to Canadian professional wrestling as much as you possibly can. I know that the wrestlers here need that support and love that support and want to hear from each and every one of you. So definitely keep showing the love for all of them as well too. So here we are. We are 40 minutes into the show, folks, and I have got nothing else written down, but I want to hear from all of you. Anything else that you guys want to hear me talk about, ramble on about, and get this flow going a little bit here. What did you see in professional wrestling this week that you want yours truly, Bobby, to talk about here on the show before we wrap things up for the day? What have we got here? Unless we got no more comments, and I mean, I might just be rambling sensibly here, and you'll just have to listen, because guess what? I'm the man with the microphone right now. So anybody that's still tuning in and hasn't tuned out just yet, feel free to hop on in and let me know what you think. But in the meantime, let's see what else I can play around with here, as I got controls of things now finally here. How about this? If you want to go and show some love for us here at Love Wrestling, you can rate this podcast at ratethispodcast.com/lovewrestlingca. Yes, you can. You can also check us out, lovewrestling.ca/shop. That's another great one to check us out on. But how about merch? You want merch? You can get your Love Wrestling merch at whatamaneuver.net/collection/love-wrestling-ca, where you can get a plethora of wonderful things, from a Live, Laugh, Love Wrestling t-shirt to show your love for all things Love Wrestling. You can get the natural Astrid Pizarro t-shirt officially over there. And I mean, you could get a Between Two Beards shirt. I mean, I hear they're the flagship program. At least that's what they're claiming. They're claiming it because they haven't exactly come on down to Sunday Brunch. You know what? Let's talk about this for a minute, you guys. Let's talk about this for one single minute, because you know what? I've got the floor, and that's what we're going to do. Between Two Beards, boys, I know you're fearing me. You're scared, because you know that the flagship is changing. You know that Bobby is the needle mover, and that I've got the audience sitting here listening, eating out the palm of my hand. Every prediction I ever said has come true so far. I said the Brunch with Bobby would happen, and what do we got right here? We got Brunch with Bobby happening right here. Before the end of this year, I'm coming for your flagship. We're going to make Sunday Brunch the biggest show here on Love Wrestling. And yeah, while I'm rambling, boom, Bobby comes in to save the day. Giselle Shaw shows up on Impact Wrestling last night. Bobby, thank you for bringing up another topic I'm so happy about. Giselle Shaw is awesome. Anyone who's not familiar with Giselle Shaw, you need to be familiar with her. The quintessential diva. She is a Canadian professional wrestler, and she is somebody that I actually got to work backstage with a couple times as I was making my start into pro wrestling. Wonderful human being, wonderful professional wrestler, and she's gone and conquered the entire world. And now she has gone and shown up on Impact Wrestling. And yes, that was the debut last Thursday. I am looking forward to seeing more of Giselle on Impact Wrestling as well, too. Who do we want to see Giselle take on? I mean, I could go for just about anyone. I think that they need to be a slow build towards it, but inevitably, I want to see the payoff match between Giselle Shaw and Deonna Purrazzo. I think that will be a great match to go with. And look at here, Tim saying easy there, Bobby, easy. Oh, I think I might have upset some of the Between Two Beards fans here. The flagship will always be Between Two Beards. Well, I mean, they can say it, they can claim it, because it's true right now. But that doesn't mean it's going to be true forever, because we have a lot of fun here on Sunday Brunch. I think that we can really get those numbers ramping up on Sundays. I think that I can bring the love here on Sundays with you guys. And I think that Why can't we have 2 flagship shows? Why can't we have 2 competing shows for ratings? Why not? Hey, you know what? Personally, I invited the Beard Boys down here. I told them, come meet me on Sunday Brunch. Come on down, bring it on over, and come see me on Sunday Brunch. And they wouldn't even grace me with their presence. They haven't invited me to join them on their show either. So what are they afraid of? I'm questioning exactly what the Beards are afraid of. If you're listening, JPJ, Pluggo, let's have a talk. Bring me on your show or come on down next Sunday to Sunday Brunch here, and we'll hammer this thing out and find out who the real flagship is here. But yes, going back to Giselle Shaw for a minute, Bobby says he would like to see Giselle Shaw versus Chelsea Green or Deonna Purrazzo. Fantastic choices, Bobby. I said about Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green would be another great one as well, too. I think her and Giselle would put on a great match inside that ring. I think it would be wonderful to see, and I think that is a fantastic suggestion on top of it all, too. So, well, it seems like we're getting closer and closer to the end of the day, so if anybody has any last questions, you let me know right now, because I think we're going to start considering showing you what we've got for the week here in Love Wrestling. I just need to load this up here for you guys. So let's go over to the weekly calendar. And yes, this week in Love Wrestling tonight, we've got the legacy of with Josh. It's going to be him talking about the legacy of Becky Lynch. On Monday, we have another match from Change the Game. It is the Varos twins taking on Son of Irish and Sid Greed. Plus, stay tuned for a very special announcement this Tuesday from us here at Love Pro Wrestling. Then on Tuesday, we've got Turnbuckle Talk. We have got the doubleheader, but Power Out and NXT. Power Out featuring Zach and Ella J, and then NXT with Astrid, Ed, and Cody. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we have got Spencer Love interviews, and Spencer is going to be interviewing Gabby Ortiz this week. We also got Wednesday with Between Two Beards, JPGA and Pluggo. Sorry, guys. I have to just say I love you guys. You do a great work, and everything I say is all in good fun. But yes, let me just bring that back up again, because I ramble and you might not have seen it all. So yes, on Friday, we also have got Smark and Friends with Shoddy. And then as always, we've got other great things, including next week with Sunday Brunch. Hopefully there will be some friends joining me. But if not, you guys, once again, will get to have Bobby on your brunch, because I can't let you down. There we go. That is what our week is like here this week. But we got one more comment here from Bobby. Which girls do you want to see wrestle at MLW on February 24th? I believe we're talking about February 26th, and that would be Super Fight. I think that, they've hinted at Roxy making a debut over in MLW, so I would love to see Roxy come out there. I'd love to just see them start to do the Featherweight Championship tournament or whatever they're going to do to decide the first ever MLW Featherweight Champion as well, too. I think that is what I'm truly looking forward to seeing. I think they've started to flesh out the division itself, and I want to see that. I'd love to see Roxy come in. Again, I've mentioned before, Max the Impaler would be another great addition. And as well, too, there's just a lot of great talent out there, and a lot that I think we would be able to bring in and see. So I'm looking forward to that as well, too. But yes, I think that's where we're going to leave it at here today, folks. Again, I could continue rambling on forever, but I think we've covered most of pro wrestling this week, and I don't want to bore the heck out of all of you. So first of all, I want to take a minute to once again thank our wonderful sponsors, because you know what? Without them, Love Wrestling just isn't possible. So Rich King over at RK Athletics 1. Rich is a wonderful guy who's going to teach you how to get in shape and be your absolute best. Check out RK Athletics 1 to find out how you can get in the best shape of your professional life. And again, our good friends at Manscaped. Yes, you want to go over and use the promo code Love Wrestling. That will get you 20% off your package, along with free shipping with that promo code over at manscaped.com. So yes, the two wonderful sponsors there. And then again, with the merchandise, you want to check out whatamaneuver.net/collection/love-wrestling-ca. So yes, folks, that is our week. That is Love Wrestling this week. That is our day on the brunch as well too. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, because you know what, without you, the fans that continue to support Love Wrestling, we just can't make this show happen. So again, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to listen to me, to listen to any of us here at Love Wrestling. It means the absolute world to us. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your Sunday and not tuning out. You stayed the entire time to listen to the one-on-one, so that is wonderful as well too. And before we go, I saw this, had to put it up there. I say we get a Bobby Money Munson versus Pluggo Spencer Love on a pole match for the flagship. You know what, Tim? We have the ring. I have a ring. We can make this happen. This is very, very possible. And you know what? I'd be happy. Pluggo, you head on down across, or sorry, not down, up across the border. Come on over to Canada, and I think we'll battle for that flagship. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. You can check me out on my channel. It is called the Video Bros Network, where I talk all things professional wrestling, especially MLW, and of course, all things about wrestling from the past, especially from the territory days with my good boy Papa Smokes. You can also check me out on the commentary team for Prairie Pro Wrestling out of Saskatchewan. So thank you very much for tuning in, folks. Have a wonderful day today and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bobby out.